Okay, all right. So with problem number 1, these parentheses are not actually needed, right? They're just sort of holding these two expressions in place. But if we drop the parentheses, this is a plus sign in the middle. It's just telling to add these two, the like terms together. So we're going to take the 2x and add it to the 3x. We're going to take the 3 and add it to the 5. I don't like doing that. That means multiplication for a lot of people. And so we get 2x and 3x makes 5x. 3 and 5 makes 8. And that equals 48. And then going forward, I'm just going to solve. Remember, we always do once we get down to a two-step equation like this, when we have a two-step equation, we always go addition or subtraction before we do multiplication and division to solve. It's always backwards PEMDAS, right? So this is a plus sign. So in order to get rid of a plus 8, we need to do a minus 8 to both sides. That way 8 minus 8 is 0. Then we're going to click on... Oh, it might be. Let's see. You have 5x equals 40. You're close. And we divide both sides by 5. Get x equals 8. 40 divided by 5 is 8. 5 times 8 is 40. And if we check our work, which is what we should be doing if we're not exactly sure, I got 8, and so I'm going to do, okay, what's 5 times 8 plus 8? Is that 48? 5 times 8 is 40, plus 8 is 48. I know that my answer was correct. So now, with ones like number 2, these multi-step equations that have variables on both sides, I found that these types of equations always feel the most difficult for people. And part of it is because there's not like some people feel unsure about what they're doing. I guess it's staying there. That's fine. What do I move? How do I get the x over to one side? I'm not sure. And the answer really boils down to just making a decision and sticking with it. I always like to put a line down the page so I know what's going on. And it's like, okay, well, I've got an x on both sides. I've got a number on both sides. Let's pick a side for the number to go on, or for the variable to go on. Do I want x on the left, or do I want x on the right? Alberto wants it on the left, it seems. So we'll go with what he's saying for now. So let's get x on the left. I want to take the one on the right, and I want to move it over to the other side. It's a positive 4x. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides so that it cancels out. All right, we get rid of that one. And so now what's left? We got 3 minus 4 is negative 1. So negative x plus 2 equals 9. And don't forget, don't lose these negative signs. They stay, right? So now that I've got the variable on the left, I've gotten it back to a nice two-step equation. Do the addition, subtraction, then do the multiplication, division. So I'm going to subtract 2. And that'll get me 9 minus 2 is 7. I've got negative x equals 7. X is not by itself yet, so I've got to divide both sides by negative 1 to get x by itself, because that negative sign has to go away. Boop, boop. Divide by a negative so that we can make it positive. 7 divided by negative 1 is negative 7. So to just be careful with your negative signs. It will make a difference. And again, you can double check. Is my answer correct? Well, 3 times negative 7 is negative 21 plus 2 That's negative 19. 4 times negative 7, that's negative 28. Plus 9 is negative 19. So negative 19 equals negative 19. Negative 7 works. Yeah, so but if you do that, then you're gonna get so let's do it that way, because that's an important thing. You should get the same answer regardless of which way you go. So let's see why we got a different answer there. So you said that you subtracted the 3x from the 4x. So your decision was to get the x on the right-hand side, and that's totally fine. That totally works just as well. Watch. We subtract 3x from this side, cancel it out like that, and now we've got 2 equals x plus 9. And now that I've got the variable on the right-hand side, I need to have the number on the left. So I'm going to subtract 9. And what's 2 minus 9? Negative 7, right? Either way, you get x equals negative 7. So like I said, just be careful with your negative signs. Make sure that you're adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing correctly. If you take a smaller number and you subtract a bigger number, you get a negative number, right? So just be careful. Great job, though. Great job, everybody. Now, number 3. Let's move on to number 3. With number 3, we have, again, it's one of those where the variables on both sides, 5x plus 1 equals 3x minus 8. So going through, again, I want to pick where the variable is going, and it doesn't matter which way you go. I'm going to go to the left again, because why not? Subtract 3x from both sides so that this cancels out. I've chosen to make my variable be on the left-hand side. So this is what I have left, right? I subtracted 3x from both sides. This went away. The negative 8 is what's left on the right-hand side. 5x minus 3x is 2x. So now I'm going to subtract to get this 1 over to the other side. I already owe you $8. Now I'm going to subtract another $1. So now I owe you $9. And then I'm going to divide by 2. And when I divide by 2, there are 2 answers that MathXL is going to look at and be okay with. And it'll give you directions which one it wants. You can either say negative 9 over 2, or if you prefer a decimal, or if the answer prefers a decimal, you could also say negative 4.5, 4.5, right? Either of these answers, if you are inputting them on MathXL, is going to give you the correct answer if you go through and say the directions say this is what I want. So if they say give me a fraction, these two answers, just make sure that what you give is what they're asking for. If they ask for a fraction, you better give them negative 9 over 2. If they ask for a decimal, you better give them negative 4.5. So just be aware. Right by the answer box, there will be a little blue instruction thing that'll tell you how they want it. If they don't tell you, then it doesn't matter. Put whichever one you want. But if they do tell you and you give them the other one, it's going to scream at you. So don't do that. All righty, let's do this last one. And if my screen goes clear again, let me know, okay? So we have 2 times the quantity, 3x plus 6 equals 17. And so when we've got a number like this out here, like this, we're going to do the distributive property, right? So I'm going to Multiply this 2 into both of these. 2 times 3, that's 6. 2 times 6 is 12. You know, and think about it like the Oprah show, you know, it's you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, everybody gets a car. So if you multiply this 2, you got to multiply it to both of these. 2 times 3, 2 times 6. So now that I'm here, I've got a two-step equation, and I'm just ready to go. I don't have to think much about it anymore. Minus 12, minus 12. 17 minus 12, we're going to get 5. 6x. And you're looking at this and you're saying, but it's not going to go in evenly. And that's okay. It will not go in evenly. Now, this is the fraction. And if you look on your calculator, if you're doing this on a calculator, some of you might be, the thing that you get might be like 0.8333333, and it'll keep on doing threes all the way down. If you are going to enter that, a lot of the times you can't, because you're not going to be able to do it exactly, because it's threes all the way down, even past where the end of the window is. It's threes forever. 0.83 repeating forever, and it just won't let you do it sometimes on Math Excel like that. And so, but if you're ever writing it down, when we get back in person, the way I want to see it, if you're going to give me a decimal, I need the exact decimal. And the way that we do that, 0.83 with a little bar over it to tell me that this 3 goes on forever, that there's no more numbers after that 3. It's just 3s forever. Okay? All right. So now that we've gone through and we've done this, let's talk about our lesson for today. So today what we're going to be talking about is the segment addition postulate. And basically what the segment addition postulate is, think about it like this: part plus part equals whole. The one part plus the other part equals the whole thing. So let's look at some really easy examples to start with. Oh, and then before I forget, I said this already before class started, but for those of you who hadn't heard this, I put a PDF on the Google Classroom, and it's just extra practice for you. I took what we're doing here out of those. So like you'll see number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. Those correspond to that packet. If you want to do some extra problems for your individual practice, please feel free. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like 3 of each type of problem that's on there, and then we're going to jump onto Math Excel. So if you're feeling really good and you just want to sort of listen as I'm talking while you get onto Math Excel, that's also fine. Okay, first one. We need to figure out what question mark is. What's the length of segment LM? And so remember, part plus part equals whole. One part's 11. What's the other part got to be for everything to be 22? Somebody said it. 11, absolutely. 11 plus 11 equals 22. So this thing right here is 11. Now, for some of these, like what I've got here, you probably aren't going to need to write down a whole equation, right? You could do 11 plus x equals 22 and then solve for x and get 11, and that's all great. But if you look at that and you go, oh, it's 11, that's fine. The difficult ones aren't these. Eventually, you'll probably need to write down an equation just so that you can keep yourself straight. But for ones like this, don't. Just part plus part equals whole. Figure out what the part is you're missing. So take a look at the next one. Same idea, maybe. It'll Let me see it. Okay. So again, you've got this thing you're looking for, this piece, VU. We know the one part is 1, and we know the whole thing is 8, and you got it. So what plus 1 is 8? Well, 7 plus 1 is 8. So here the answer is 7. And so what I'm writing literally this is the most I would ever expect anyone to do for a problem like this. No more than this. Like I said, if you look at that and you can automatically see that the answer is 7 because you're looking at it and you're like, oh, what? Oh, it's 7. Okay. That's cool with these especially. Don't feel like you have to do so much extra for these, okay? It's not, you just don't have to. It's okay. Let's do one more. And again, I think part of it, so explain to me why the answer is 9. The answer is 9. You're right. Why? Tell me why. You can either come off mute to tell me or you can type it in the chat. Yeah, I mean, don't overthink this. I promise you that these are literally just this easy. You got it. You're absolutely right. Trust yourself on this. So you look at this. What plus 3 is 12? Part plus part equals whole. It's okay. No, don't apologize. You're trying, and that's all I care about right now. So part plus part equals whole. And if you do that, you'll get the answer correct every single time. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about, now we're going to put in some letters and variables and stuff like that. And all I want to do is I want to look at the directions. And the directions tell me solve for x. I don't care about nothing else but solving for x. Once I get x equals, I am done with the problem, right? Don't do extra. Ain't no reason to do extra. They ain't paying you to do extra. Don't do extra. So look at what we got. Again, part plus part equals whole. Part plus part equals whole. So let's write that down. Part plus part equals whole. Now look, you go through and you do this. Remember, these parentheses don't mean anything. So we can just drop them and we can add our terms together. 9x and 9x makes 18x. And this -1 doesn't have anybody to hang with, so it's just going to be by itself. And then we're going to say, all right, well, I got a 2-step equation. Let me add this 1 over to the other side, right? And then from here, it's just a matter of dividing by 18, and we get x equals 1, yeah? That's right. You got it, Denise. And again, plug it back in so you can show yourself that it's true. 1. Well, 9 times 1 minus 1, so this is 8. 9 times 1 is 9. Is 8 and 9, does that make 17? Uh-huh. So just be aware. Just be aware. Plug it back in to double check your work. If it's not coming out right, maybe you made a mistake in your calculations here. So just be careful. Okay, so go ahead and try this one on your own. See if you can get it. All right, last couple seconds. What's the answer? All right, we got someone said 12. Anybody get anything different? Doesn't look like it. That's cool. So let's see. Let's see if our answer is correct before we actually calculate it out. If the answer is 12, this should all work, right? We got 12 minus 9 is 3. We got 2 times 12 is 24. Minus 17 is 7. Is 3 plus 7 10? So we know that our answer is right. So before we even go any further, our answer is correct. Awesome. Now let's show why. Remember, we're doing part plus part equals whole. So we're going to do part plus part equals whole. So we're going to combine our like terms. X and 2x makes 3x. Negative 9 and negative 17 makes negative 26. We're going to add the 26 over. Then divide both sides by 3 to solve and get 12. So, yeah, absolutely. We got it. Good job. So if x is 12, what is 12 minus 9? If x is 12, what is 2 times 12 minus 17? 12 minus 9 is 3. 2 times 12, 24, minus 17 is 7. Does that make sense? $12 was the answer. So Denise came up with the answer of 12, and I said, let's check it. Let's see if it's right. And so we plugged it in just to see. But x is 12. We showed it right here. So if we take 12 and we put it in here, we can show that what we've done here is correct. You know what I mean? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's just so one of the things that I want to emphasize is walking away from a problem, making sure that you are cool with it. Like, how do I know I'm right? How do I know what's what? Could I show that I'm right? Oh yeah, absolutely you can every time. Can I show that I'm wrong? Yeah, totally can. Showing that you're right, showing that you're wrong, there's a ton of things that you can do to prove to yourself that what you've done is correct. And I want to make sure that we are walking away from this proving to ourselves that everything is right. Okay, last one. I'm just going to run through this real quick. Again, you got x plus 4 and x plus 9. These are our parts. Part plus part equals whole. Then we're going to combine our like terms. X and x make 2x. 4 and 9 make 13. And then I'm going to subtract the 13 and divide by 2, right? Well, what's 9 minus 13? Negative 4, right? And then what is divided by 2? And so we got x equals negative 2, and that's totally fine. We're allowed to have x be a negative number, right? Here, so negative 2 plus 4, we get that that's 2, right? Negative 2 plus 9, we get that that's 7. And if this is 2 and this is 7, do they make part plus part equals whole? Is that right? Gotta be, yeah? So from here, all we're gonna do is, instead of saying, hey, find x, we're gonna say, hey, now that we know x, find one of these measurements. So again, our answer, our value of x was -2. And then I want to go and check. I want to check to see what's what, make sure that I did it right. So I'm going to take that -2 and I'm going to put it in for x wherever I see it. What's -2 plus 4? 2, right? What's -2 plus 9? 7. And so now that I've done that, I can show that these add up to the whole thing, and then we're good. Okay, so all we're going to do now, the only thing we're going to do is we're going to find the actual length of the segment. So before we were looking for the value of x. Now we're trying to find the length that's given, right? And so the one that they want is FG. That's this one, right? So when you go through, you're going to find what x is, and then you're going to plug it back in so that you get what your answer is supposed to be. All right? So let's do it. Part plus part equals whole. What is x? Okay, here's our equation. We're just going to combine our like terms. We've got our two-step equation. So we're going to take this positive 40, we're going to subtract it over to the other side. (16 minus 40 is -24, right? So now we can divide. So we've got, if 24 divided by 3 is 8, -24 divided by 3 is going to be -8. So that's x, right? So let's plug it in so we can find what we're actually looking for. We do -8 plus 20. Well, that's 12. So that might be our answer. Let's just double check to make sure that what we're doing is right. 2 times -8 is -16 plus 20 is 4. Is 12 plus 4 equal to 16? Sure is. So we know that our answer here, our final answer here is 12. And we know that the final answer is 12 because look what they told us to do. It said find the length of FG. Because we want to find the length that's indicated. All right. So all the rest of these are exactly like this, right? Part plus part equals whole, and they want you to find the piece that they give you. So just do it out. We've got x and x, so that's 2x. 15 and 10 is 25. 17. You can subtract. Get -8. Get x, but we want to find the length indicated. So we found x. That's not what we need to do. We need to find uv, right? So we're going to come back here. Here's uv. That's x plus 10. So we want to take -4, put it where x goes. So this is 6. Let's make sure that everything is right. If this is 6 and the whole thing is 17, this should come out to be 11, right? So let's find out. X is -4. That's what we found, right? And 15 minus 4, that had better be 11. Hey, look, 11 and 6 is 17. We did it. Okay, I think this is the last one. One more after that. So if we want to find SQ, we're going to do the exact same thing. Now, what makes this one difficult is, look, there's an expression down here. It's not just a number anymore, but you still got to do part plus part equals whole. Every time you got to do part plus part equals whole. So make sure that you put the parts in one spot and the whole thing on the other one. So you got -12 plus 2x plus 12 equals 3x minus 10. Well, this -12 and this 12, they're going to add up to 0. That's awesome. This 2x is by itself now. Now, I want to tell you something about this specific problem, and that's one of the reasons why this is here. If I subtract this 2x over to the other side, what's going to be left on the left-hand side? Nothing, right? Is that going to help us get to the answer? So don't do it that way. It's complicated, it's annoying, and it's not what you want to do. So do yourself the favor of taking this guy and subtracting that over. Get -x equals -10. And if -x equals -10, what does positive x equal? If -x equals -10, what does positive x equal? Positive 10. That's exactly right. Very good. So again, we want to find SQ. We want to find from start to finish. That's this guy right here. So if x is 10, what's 3 times 10 minus 10? Anybody? Yeah, good. 3 times 10 is 30. Subtract 10, you get 20. All right, so we got one more to grow on here. And because you're going to see this in your assignment, you're going to see this in your assignment. They're going to tell you that T is the midpoint of PQ. Point T is the midpoint of segment PQ. And they're going to give you this picture with these little red lines. And so what I want to throw out to the chat here is, what do you think those red lines mean? You had to guess. Okay, I can see why you would say that. You're thinking, okay, well, those are the two parts. But think about this word, midpoint. Midpoint, the middle, right? So if T is the middle, what does that mean about PT and TQ? What are they going to be? this segment and this segment are the same. Right? If T is directly in the middle, that means that it's halfway between P and Q, ain't it? So the segment PT and the segment TQ had better be the same size, right? In geometry, there's a word that we use. The word is congruent. Congruent just means that they're the exact same thing. Ooh. Everybody see that? Congruent means that two things are the exact same size and shape. So if PT has a length of 5, TQ had better have a length of 5. If PT has a length of 50, TQ had better have a length of 50. If PT is 42.6, TQ had better be 42.6. Whatever this one is the same size. So these red lines, when you see them, they are telling you that the segments that they are in the middle of are the same size. And that's what that means. So if you have a situation like that, look, they tell you that PT has a length of 2x plus 3. They tell you TQ has a length of 3x plus 2. They give you the little red marks in the center, which means that they're the same size. If they're the same size, what does that mean about the length of PT versus the length of TQ? What are they to each other? Congruent. Very good. So since they're congruent, they're going to be the same, right? And when two things are the same, you can set them equal to each other. These two things, those two segments, have equal lengths. So 2x plus 3 is going to be equal to 3x plus 2. That means you can solve, right? And you're going to get x equals 1 when you're all done with that. So it says, what is x? Well, and if I know x is 1, I can find the length of PT. 2 times 1 plus 3, it better be 5, right? I can find the length of TQ too, right? TQ is 3x plus 2. 3 times 1 plus 2 is also 5. Well, that better be, right? If they're congruent, if they're the same, their lengths had better be the same, right? So if this is 5 and this is 5, and we knew they were the same, we should be on the right track. What about PQ? If PT is 5 and TQ is 5, what is all of PQ going to be? 10. That's exactly right. Yeah, y'all got it. All right. So here's what we have. We've got this problem, and I know it's sort of weird looking, but it's the same. It's the exact same thing as what we did. So like, it's telling us that ST has a length of 15. It's telling us that RT, the whole thing, has a length of 39. And so they want to know what's RS. So what plus 15 is 39? And that's what we need to find out, right? And that will be our answer. So what is the answer here?
You said that. Wait.
Right. This is my problem. It's not going to have the exact same numbers as your problem, but this is the idea. It's the same basic concept. So for me,
the answer would be 24, right?
For me, the answer would be 24.
Okay.
And for you, it's going to be the exact same idea. It's just you're going to have slightly different numbers, right?
Right.
So same thing. Does that make more sense now that we talked through it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
No problem. Happy to help. Okay, it's time to go. So I'll see everybody on Friday. Don't forget, there's a quiz on Friday. Friday quiz day every week. Have a good one. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.